we are just trialing out. Okay, so it's more like lifestyle. We're going to talk about your activity levels. We'll go through some things on nutrition, but because this is week 1, and we'll try and do it maybe every 1 to 2 weeks, but because this is week 1, I'm going to keep it really simple today. So we'll just stick with the basics. So we're not trying to do everything all at once, or we're not trying to overcomplicate things. Okay, so every time we do one of these chats, we'll try and go away with something. So something that you can kind of go for. Okay, so by the end of the chat, I will give you some homework to do for this week. Okay, so this will be a Q&A. You can answer, we'll ask some questions at the end, and I'll give my best to answer. If there's any questions along the way, so if there's anything that you don't actually understand, just literally ask the question. If you don't want to ask questions over this, you can send me, Jake or Eamon, a message. Okay, so the first thing that we are going to chat about today is activity levels. So through training at home, we're probably not burning as much calories, and we're probably not pushing to the same intensity that we normally would in the gym. So I would say that there's not as much stress on your body now from when you do train in the gym, and we normally would take, say, at least 2 rest days a week when we're just training in the gym. From training at home, I want everybody to try and do something active every day. Okay, so if you're active every day, I'm not saying that you need to go full intensity. You can choose to do one of the Zoom classes. Obviously, we're offering the bodyweight class, you've got the dumbbell, you've got the kettlebell class, you've got loads of options. If you don't want to do one of the classes, you can go for a long walk, you can go for a run, you can even go into kind of type of flow yoga style class just to get your body moving. So I want you to try and do something active every day, okay? I would try and push people to get up and do something in the morning, just because we are kind of stuck at home. You should be trying to get up and just get going. I know myself from taking the Zoom classes. So if I get up and I'm taking 7:30, or the 7:30 Zoom class, I actually just try and do the class now, because the difference from when I wake up, I feel quite sluggish, and by halfway through the class to finishing, I feel 10 times better. So if you can't get up and do the class in the morning, even if you're not a morning person, your body can kind of adapt to that. So if you start this week by getting up and doing the morning class, you'll probably by Friday feel normal getting up and exercising. And again, if you don't want to get up and do the class, let's try and get up and go for a walk. Just get outside. We don't even have an excuse because of the weather. The mornings are bright, and obviously the weather has been great. So going from exercise, we'll go through some steps. So if you don't have a step counter, there's apps that you can download on your phone. Okay, so if you don't have like an Apple Watch or a Fitbit, something where you can track your steps. One of the goals for this week is going to be to hit at least 10K. Okay, so we might need to download the app. So if you don't normally track your steps, I would download the app, and every day this week try and get 10K steps. If you do track your steps, so say your average is maybe 12,000, I want you to try and add 2K onto that, which means you'll go up to 14,000. Like my average steps per day now is probably 20K, because I'm just constantly walking. So I'm going against the rule in terms of going for more than one walk. But if you go for a 10K walk, that's probably going to take you just over an hour. And you could make it shorter by going for a run if you wanted to. So that's goal 1. The other activity goal that we're going to do, so if you are seated, so say you are sitting on your laptop all day, obviously it's not great for your posture anyway. The second goal is for every 30 minutes that you are seated, I want you to sit in the bottom of a squat for 1 minute. Okay, so that means just literally setting a timer on, having it going off, you just sit in the bottom of a squat. It's going to help your knees, your ankles, your hips, and it'll even help stretch your back a little bit as well. And it'll probably scare you how much you're seated through the day, through how many 1 minute squats you're going to do. Okay, so that's the second goal, and I'll give you a reminder of all your goals at the end. So that's kind of all we're going to talk about through activity, just making sure that we are trying to stay active and trying to make an effort to do the classes, just because it's not the same when you're training at home. Like I know when I'm training at home, I don't have that much motivation. So at least if you feel like you're kind of doing it with people, it does help. And obviously if through me or Jake kind of watching over you, you're forced to go a wee bit harder as well. So try and make more of an effort to do the Zoom classes. You can do the bodyweight class we have added. I don't know if you got the email today, but even if you have one of the dumbbells or the kettlebells, you're going to be able to add that into the bodyweight class. And there's nothing to say if you do the bodyweight class, you can't do the dumbbell workout. If your body is feeling good, you can do both, okay? So we'll move on to kind of diet. This is not something we're going to go too in depth with, okay? So we'll go through just snacking habits, okay? It's probably the worst habit that we can pick up when you're sitting about in the house. So if you find that you are snacking quite a lot, you're probably rummaging through the cupboards or opening and closing the fridge just to see what there is, if there's anything new going to appear. The next time you go to have a snack, just ask yourself, like, are you actually hungry? Because a lot of the time you're probably not. I know, like, I'm probably the same. Ask yourself if you're hungry, and if you are actually hungry, ask yourself when was your last full meal. Because you can graze through the day and you're never going to be actually satisfied by just constantly snacking. Even if you are eating good snacks, you should be aiming to have 3 full meals a day. So that's going to be breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So you're going to be building in a routine with exercise through how you're working, but you also should be building in routine with your diet as well. So if you're going to have breakfast every day at 9 o'clock in the morning, you're going to have lunch every day at 1 o'clock, and you're going to have dinner every day at 6 p.m. Okay, so try and build in routine with actual meal times, and especially if it is something that you struggle with. Okay, so we're trying to cut out snacking habits, and we're trying to eat 3 full meals a day. I know everybody knows everything about portion control. If you are male, female living together, you don't need the same portion sizes. Sometimes I have to remind myself of this. So if you're not as active, obviously you might not need as much calories. And in your 3 full meals, like, we want to make an effort to actually try and eat good food, especially for your immune system at the minute. So loads of fruit and veg, loads of lean meat, so just chicken, turkey, fish, you know, even if you're vegan, obviously still trying to get protein in some way. And if you are snacking, make sure that you're eating the right snacks, okay? So trying to stay away from a lot of processed foods. If you're not too sure what processed foods are, it's just literally the likes of cereals, anything that comes in a packet or a tin, microwave meals that are really easy. And again, you shouldn't be eating microwave meals, because we should be making more effort to cook, because we obviously have a bit more time on our hands. So definitely try and make more of an effort with your food this week. We can go more in depth on food probably over the next few weeks, and we can look at what a lot of yous are eating. If you are really struggling on the nutrition side, please just message me or Jake, and we can even look at what you're eating in a day, and we can give you help through that. The other thing is calorie counting. Not a lot of us probably do it. So when you're not calorie counting, there's days that you could be eating 2,000 calories, and then the next day you could be eating 1,200 calories. So it's kind of all over the place, whereas you should be kind of eating the same amounts most days. So if you're not big into calorie counting, or you're not too sure how much you should be taking in, download the app. It's called MyFitnessPal. I'm sure a lot of us have heard of it or maybe used it before. But it is just good to even see if you're overeating or undereating, because undereating is just going to be just as bad as overeating. And if you're not too sure about how many calories you should be having, there's a good kind of calculator that I was trialing out online that I'll post it into the Berserk page. But everyone is different, because obviously everyone has different activity levels, and I know like I'm super active, so I should be eating more than the average female, and I just put in my kind of details to see like what it was averaging for me, and it just asks for your name, or you put in if you're male or female, you put in your body weight, your height, and how active you are. So when I put mine in, I literally put in that I was very active, two different options, and I think it said for me, like for me to maintain weight, it was 2,300 calories, and for me to lose weight, it was 1,800 calories. And I know for me that's definitely probably round about right. So you could use it and just trial it out this week, and then that way when we go into looking at calories and everything over the next few weeks, you've kind of already started. So I'll post that into the Berserk page, and everyone can try it out. If you're not interested, it's fine. Any questions? Do you ask something? No? Okay. We'll ask questions at the end. So that's the big one on food, and obviously trying to snack. You know, we have to stay away from all the sugary stuff, and especially after Easter. There's probably a lot of things on Instagram people eat chocolate for breakfast, which isn't ideal. So try and flip that over this week and get on track.
One. Do you feed him, Joe? And get out of the way. Go on.
I'm gonna mute Gareth. The last thing we'll kind of go through today will be hydration, which is really simple, but keep an eye on what color your pee is, as disgusting as that sounds. But if it's a luminous yellow, you know that's not a good thing. So we should be drinking about 2.5 to 4 liters a day. If it's something you struggle with, drink a liter in the morning. Okay, if you drink a liter in the morning, then you're nearly halfway there. And then obviously just make sure you always have water sitting in front of you, and you can count your herbal teas and your coffees as liquid as well. And try and
Darren, did you hear that? Darren Dorman.
Darren? You not drink enough water? Alcohol doesn't count, just so you know. Yeah, so get on to hydration and just make sure you're trying to drink at least 2.5 to 4 liters a day. Okay. We're gonna put up I'm gonna put up a bit of a flow routine on the Berserk page, or I'll get Eamon to email it to you. So it's one of the options for being active in the morning. And if you don't want to get up and actually exercise, you can get up and do a stretch routine. It doesn't have to be done in the morning, but you can even do it through the day just to kind of loosen everything up and get your body moving. Me, Jake, and Eamon are obviously here to keep you accountable. So message us directly if you need to, or if you want some nutrition advice. Just like I said, it doesn't have to be directly to me. You can send it to one of the other guys as well. So like I said, we're going to keep today really basic. So your goals for this week, 10K steps plus, okay? Download the app if you need to. If you're already hitting 10K, you're adding 2K on to your steps, okay? And then the other goal is to sit in the bottom of a squat for 60 seconds for every 30 minutes that you're seated. Try to make sure that you're getting into a routine with your eating. So you're eating at the same times every day, breakfast, lunch, dinner, so that you're having 3 full meals, and we're trying to cut out any bad snacking habits that we have, okay? And the other one is just making sure we're staying hydrated. So 2.5 to 4 liters a day. Okay, so guys, if you have any questions, fire away. I know some people can be real shy.
Me, I'm shy. I'm always shy.
Yeah, you have to have questions. You're always asking questions about diet.
Yeah, me. Yeah. My jaw closed.
Actually, where
Where do you get the step counter? Is it like an app on the phone, is it?
Yeah, it is. There's like, see, when you type it into, I actually just did it earlier on because I have a Fitbit, but if you put step counter into your app, honestly, there's going to be loads that pop up. I would just go with the first one or two. They're probably the recommended ones and try all them out.
Sorry, if you have an iPhone, it's in the health app.
Yeah.
All right, okay.
Okay. And guys, a lot of people are baking. I'm a big fan of baking. But if you bake 3 loaves of banana bread, because I know so many of us have done this, you can freeze them. We don't need to eat them all within the space of 48 hours.
In my defense, I've been freezing everything I've been baking.
Good, that's good.
I've literally kept like 3 things in the tin and the rest has gone to the freezer.
That's best. I do need to probably put that into my notebook as well.
Aisling, do you think it matters much about like time of day that you're eating, like particularly I guess evening, like if it's late dinner?
Well, I know, like personally, I know if I'm snacking, my snack time is going to be in the evening. So I've just set like an actual cut time to when I stop eating, and that's after dinner. So if I'm going to have dinner between 6 to 7 after that, I just try to stop. But it just goes on you. So if you're waking up quite early and you're training in the morning, like you don't actually, like you could train fasted and then start your eating routine from there. I don't think there's going to be a massive difference on your eating time as long as you're eating quite regularly. Like you're not going from breakfast at 9 a.m. and then go right through to dinner, which is until 6 p.m. Like that's going to make a difference, you know. So try and make sure that you are eating maybe every 4 hours rather than like skipping long periods of time without having anything, because that's when you probably will overeat or binge eat because you're going to end up starving.
Thing. Should you trying to build muscle? Should you do like less cardio, like you're saying about trying to get the steps in? Should you be like not doing that?
No, I definitely wouldn't be cutting out cardio. Like you can still build muscle. Well, it depends on what training you're doing as well. Like are you doing weight training at home?
Yeah, just whatever sort of workout. Like was the kettlebell stuff this week, and then would maybe run or cycle or something as well, like different days and things.
No, I would definitely keep the cardio in, especially because you don't want to come back to the gym and you'll be breathing heavy from just walking up the stairs. You know, it's not going to have a huge impact on, you know, stopping you from like gaining muscle. I definitely wouldn't worry about that, and definitely don't like not do the 10k steps a day. So you're just keeping your heart healthy by moving. You turn into like one of those bodybuilders who literally just lift weights and do nothing else. Any more?
I start sending you pictures of my feet to see if it's healthy.
Sorry?
I start sending you pictures of my feet to see if it's healthy or not.
Of your what? I cannot. The other one that we did speak about, guys, is if like you are worried about gaining weight or overeating, the other thing you can do is take photos for yourself. It's not something that I would probably do personally, but from an image front, like you keep them for yourself. So if you want to take a photo of yourself on a Sunday morning, and rather than like weighing yourself, you might not even have scales, but you can kind of do it through how you look and how you feel. So you could do it weekly or every 2 weeks. It might be a good way to keep the snacking habits out and not eat bad foods.
And do we send those pictures directly to you, Ashley, or how does that work?
That's why I said, you can keep those photos to yourself.
I'll get into trouble for it.
Or just send them directly to Eamon. People mind.
Darren,
Please don't, Darren. I've got enough of your pictures.
But we will keep this up. Thank you for obviously showing up and listening. We will try and add a little bit more to it each week. And we'll keep kind of posting up on the Cirque page for the weekly goals to make sure that you're accountable and trying to hit them every week.
See, actually, the way that there's going to be the suggestions for using weights in the body weight Zoom classes.
Yeah.
Is that going to be on Wodify, or is that just going to happen in the class?
It'll probably happen in the class, but you'll probably be able to tell through the workout yourself of, you know, what you'll be able to do with your weight, because we'll be able to just adapt exercise. Like, it'll be more based then if you have a kettlebell, do this, if you have a dumbbell, do this. And we'll still have your option of actual dumbbell program and the kettlebell program as well.
When it comes to adding the equipment into the at-home workouts to the bodyweight ones, that's just kind of to break up the monotony of doing similar movements over and over. The thing about adding a kettlebell or a dumbbell into that is it's going to change what the workout will look like from if it was just body weight. So if you've 50 jumping lunges to do in a workout, and I suggest you can do it with a kettlebell or a dumbbell, not jumping, but just normal lunges, that's obviously going to take away from the intensity of the workout, but at the same time it's going to like add more load in the body. So you just have to understand that although it's a different workout, it's still good. It's just going to be kind of, rather than getting your heart rate up, it's going to be there to using the weights there to kind of slow you down a little bit, but it's just to try and make things a little bit more interesting. And me and Jake spoke today about maybe trying to get people like to make like a sandbag or an odd object so we could use that. I'm not a big fan of people throwing around school bags, but you know, if you can get like a couple of sacks and fill them up with sand or rice, or you know, it could be something that we could look into. And hugging that when you're doing squats would obviously make it a little different to constantly trying to do jumping squats. And we have to be very careful, obviously, when we're programming, not to be overloading certain movements day in, day out, or shoulders start to get very sore from burpees and knees start to get very sore from plyometrics. So we're just trying to constantly try and come up with you know, different movements, and we don't really want to get into like people doing star jumps and jumping jacks every day of the week, but it's challenging. But if anyone comes up with any good movements, or there's plenty of Instagram influencers out there that are showing us like different movements that they can do, and that's where we obviously saw the sandbag thing. But by all means, send them in, and the more stuff you stick up in the Facebook group, the whole gym will get to see any suggestions that you have. Back to you, Ashley. Wrap it up. I'm hungry.
Okay, we'll wrap it up at that. And again, any questions that you maybe didn't get to ask, just send me a message over Instagram or social media. Okay, but thank you for joining in. Thank you for 25 minutes of your time.
Thanks, Ashley.
Thanks, Ashley.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye. Bye.